Hey guys, welcome back to Future Specs. I'm Wesley, and in this video I'm going to be breaking down the comic book history of Ron Lim. So this is going to be the last of the first three comic histories that I'm going to be doing on my three favorite creators, with the first one that I did on George Perez, then Jim Starlin, and now Ron Lim. So if there's anyone you guys want to see me do a video on, let me know in the comments down below, and like this video if you enjoyed, and let's get into it. So overall, in all the years that comics have been around, Ron Lim is still a fairly newer creator when you think about it, with not really getting started until the late 80s, early 90s. So first, getting into comics and the industry, Lim was always interested in comics as a child and grew up reading titles such as Fantastic Four and started to draw his favorite characters, and that's where he got the interest in doing art. So Lim's first published artwork was in Mutants, which he did the art from 1986 to 1988, which was published at Eternity Comics. Lim would then be discovered by Marvel at a comic convention in 1987, where they immediately hired him right away, and he started penciling Silver Surfer Volume 3, which he worked on from 1988 to 1994. And this is probably what he is most well known for, is this Silver Surfer run, and it's some of my favorite artwork that he's done with the cosmic realm that Silver Surfer is in, and obviously the lead up to Infinity Gauntlet with all the Thanos stories and all of that. And this is where Lim would start to work with Jim Starlin, and would later work with him on the Infinity Saga. So some of the keys from his Silver Surfer run, there isn't really any big first appearances, some minor characters, but really most of the keys are just excellent stories and all of that. So first we have issue 34, which is the resurrection of Thanos after he died 13 years earlier. And then issue 44, which is the first Infinity Gauntlet. And then issue 50, which is the prelude to Infinity Gauntlet, and is also the first foil embossed comic book cover, so that's really cool too. So then Lim would also draw the Thanos Quest books, which would lead into Infinity Saga, which Lim took over for George Perez on Infinity Gauntlet issue 4, because Perez was busy with other stuff, which if you haven't seen my video on George Perez, definitely go back and watch it after this one. So then after that, Starlin and Lim's working relationship continued on from there, and Lim drew Infinity War and Infinity Crusade, which the Infinity Saga is one of my favorite stories, and Lim's artwork in it, especially the Infinity War fold-out cover there, is incredible. So while working on Silver Surfer, he also worked on other titles in the 90s, such as Captain America issues 366 to 386, X-Men 2099, which issue 1 is their first appearance, all the way to issue 31, Spider-Man Unlimited 1 through 9, which issue number 1 there is the first appearance of Scream, which you know has heated up a lot lately with the Venom 2 movie coming out. And it's also the first issue in the Maximum Carnage story, so that's really cool. And he also did the artwork for Lethal Protector issue 4 through 6, which is the first appearance of all of those Life Foundation symbiotes. So Lim's worked on a lot of bigger and popular stories in the 90s with many fan favorite characters. But from 1996 to 2000, Lim would start to work for DC, and he worked on various issues across many titles like Green Lantern, Flash, and Hawkman. But most notably, he drew issues of Sovereign 7, which was Chris Claremont's series that he was writing over there, which is interesting to see two Marvel creators, with Chris Claremont being most well known for his X-Men run working over at DC, which I know creators hopped around a lot, but with someone as big as Chris Claremont, I thought that was interesting. So at this same time in the 90s and early 2000s, Lim would work on a couple projects that inevitably ended up failing. He did art for a revival of G.I. Joe that was going to be published at Bench Press Comics, but because of some copyright stuff, it was never actually published, but you can still find some of the art online. He also contributed to Future Comics, which was another publishing company that lasted for a little bit, and he drew their Metallics series in 2004, but Future Comics ultimately closed down. So Lim would return to Marvel in the 2000s and work on many of Tom DeFalco's Marvel Comics 2 stories, which were alternate universe takes on the characters very similar to Heroes Reborn and other series they've done like that, which he worked on the Avengers Next, J2, which is the son of Juggernaut, and the Fantastic Five series. He did artwork for many of those issues. And since 2007 or so, Lim's really just been doing variants for Marvel on many of their different series and titles, with occasionally doing miniseries. A lot of these variants they're always awesome, and I usually pick a couple of them up whenever they're released because I just love Lim's artwork that much. So that was the comic book history of Ron Lim. It's a short history, but incredible artwork, and he's definitely worked and done a lot of great work. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment down below, and consider subscribing for more videos like this. We've got big things coming up that you definitely don't want to miss, so make sure you're watching for that. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video or live show.